Welcome to the Add Up to the Brush. Today we're going to carry on working on Illuminor Szeras. This is where we've got so far, and today what we're going to work on mostly is his weapon blade. So I'm going to put him to one side. This is the piece that we are going to focus on mostly today. So first things I'm going to need to do is get the gold tips in on both parts. Possibly painting the crystal first, paint the cartouche in, paint the green on the area surrounding the cartouche, and then we can work on the blade. So it shouldn't take us particularly long. So first thing we'll do is I'm just going to glaze those crystals with some volupus pink. Again, I'm using this straight out of the pot purely because I think for the crystals it looks a little better if you go heavier. So just check that I've got it in focus, and I'm literally just trying to pull colour towards the base of the crystal. And again, I'm trying to make sure that the brush is loaded each time I come in. So I do want this to look flooded. It kind of helps sell the effect I'm after, and it also helps if we work quick with it. So I'm going to try and hold it that way so I keep that one in the same position, and do the same thing on the crystal at the bottom. And I think this would be a good point for me to get a little holding armature for whilst things dry, because I don't want to blue tack this down, but at the same time I don't want to lay it flat. I want gravity to do the work for me. And that will give us a really easy, quick crystal effect on those bits that will look different to the green that's on there. I need to try and hold this whilst I change paints. So I've got to, no, hopefully I haven't touched it. No, I didn't touch it. Don't really want to do this. I think I need to get myself an armature to hold stuff. I'm going to end up holding it whilst I wait for it to dry, I think. Let's see if I can change colours. Next thing I'm going to do is the area around the cartouche, and I'm using Army Painter's green skin for that. Get a little bit out onto the palette. So you can see it. It's only a tiny little drop. Taking a smaller brush with some water on it, and try and hold this so you can see it and I can see it. So all I'm doing is coming around the edge of the cartouche. I'm more worried about the raised areas than the recesses. Again, I don't need this to be perfect because there's another colour that comes in over the top of this that will correct a lot of the problems. So trying very carefully not to touch that crystal. And again, I'm not trying to smother the area with pigment, I'm literally just running green skin over those raised areas, because we've got another wash that will come over the top of this at some point that will actually sort all that out. This is just setting it up so that it's a lot easier. Same on the back side. And we will tidy this up before we put the next colour that goes in over the top anyway, because we want to tidy up that black. So this is the green in. Those crystals are nearly dry, but not quite. So, what I'm going to do next move that. Let's take some Sycorax bronze. Unfortunately, mine's on its way out, I think. Thinned it down a little bit. Now I want to do is just hit these ribbed sections down the shaft on the haft of the weapon, because I've gone for a very Egyptian centric sort of theme with them. The sort of sand, gold and lapis predominant colours across the army, and consequently one of the things you see on a lot of Egyptian iconography or portraits is the banded alternating layers of sections of lapis and sections of gold. Which is kind of the effect I want across this model. Now I will have to tidy his hand up later on. I think it's almost holding a fitting in his hand. And then we've got this little bit at this end as well. There's not much of it, but there is a little bit either side of his hand. And that bit's under his fingers. And the last section before the bottom of the blade, which means we're going to have some tidying up there to do at some point. So we've got that in. And whilst we've still got some Sycorax bronze on the brush, we can use the curve face of it again. Just hit up the detail on the front of the cartouche. So that's pretty clean. So now I want some retributor gold, which is about somewhere. I was using it yesterday. Again, not going to use a huge amount of this. It's more fat accenting parts of the model, so we will need to correct some of this gold before we can come in and do the blade. But it's easier to do it now and get it based before we do the blade, rather than trying to do this once we've done the blade and then trying to put the gold down and not make any mistakes. It just makes our life so much harder than it needs to be. So again, because we're going to correct that black, I'm not too phased that we're getting a little bit onto it. So looking at this end, I want this part that's touching up to the crystal. We've got some on the crystal, darn it. Well, we will have to correct that later on. Don't know if I can wash that off. I'll try. I think we were lucky there, folks. Managed to get that out of the way. The top part of the crystal. So at the moment I'm just trying to do the very end of the gun. We've got some of the gold in there. Sorry for the multiple text alerts, folks. Now this back edge, we've just got this tiny bit at the top to do. So we've managed to avoid getting it on the crystal, and we've got the gold in place. We can now neaten up the black before we paint the blades itself. So that will be more or less the last step. I'll tidy up the black off camera and give the gold an ink wash, and we'll come back in the next part to actually do the blade. So that was painting the crystals on Illuminor's staff, and the next bit we'll actually get on to doing the blades. Thank you for watching. I've been the Adept to the Brush. If you've liked what you've seen, please like and subscribe. Help the channel grow. Thank you. Goodbye.